What's up, guys? It's MB Boxing, and I just finished up watching Armando Resendiz versus Marcos Hernandez, and this was a 10-rounder in the middleweight division, and this fight was Sunday, September 5th, from the Armory in Minneapolis, Minnesota, and in this fight, Marcos Hernandez upset Armando Resendiz, giving him his first loss of his career, and he won by unanimous decision. I had the bout scored 95-94 in favor of Marcos Hernandez, and the judges scored the bout 97-92 and 96-93 twice in favor of Marcos Hernandez. So just to break down the fight, in the second round, Resendiz did slip, and the referee called it a knockdown, which, I thought it was a very, very clear slip. I don't know what the referee saw, and that did have an impact on my score, because if it was not called a knockdown, it would have obviously been a draw, and I think it should have been a draw, in my opinion. That was definitely not as wide as that judge read at 97-92. I thought it was a really, really close fight. The punch stats were almost dead even. And most of Hernandez's shots were jabs, but he was able to keep Resendiz at bay with it. He was the bigger man, 6 foot tall, to Resendiz like 5'9.5". Resendiz is only 22 years old, and he looked decent, but still, Hernandez is known as a come forward fighter, but here he was able to box and counterpunch from the outside. Resendiz did land, I believe, more power punches, but Hernandez did land the more eye-catching shots. Maybe it was a problem with Resendiz's haircut, because whenever Hernandez would land clean, you'd see the sweat fly off his head, and it looks like a bigger punch to the judges. But in the last 2 rounds, I did give them to Resendiz. He was really hungry to get a knockout or a knockdown to possibly win the fight and sway the judges, but that wasn't enough. He looked good in those last 2 rounds. He just came forward and tried to throw punches, and there was a lot of exchanges in this fight. It was actually a very, very good fight, and I think this was actually a big step up for Resendiz. He went from fighting relatively unknown fighters in Mexico to fighting a guy who's got a draw with a former champion in Rosario, who fought some of the top guys, fought Fox, as I mentioned before, Rosario. He's a very tough fighter. Resendiz taking the first loss of his career, I mentioned before. And I just want to talk about the middle rounds for a bit. Those were rounds where I thought Hernandez did well boxing and countering, and I thought he won most of them. But early on, I had it really, really close, but they should have not called that a knockdown. And if you watch this fight, just comment down below how you scored it, because I'm very interested to see how other people might have scored it. But what is next for Marcos Hernandez getting this victory here, the upset? Definitely the best win of his career so far, I would say. I honestly don't know. Maybe he should fight Brandon Lynch again after that draw that he just had a couple months back. I think he should face another prospect like this, specifically Brandon Lynch, because, they had a draw, obviously, in their first fight, so I wouldn't mind seeing a rematch. But what is next for Armando Resendiz, taking his first ever loss? This was actually a very, very tough and eye-opening fight. He learned a lot from it. I could definitely say that. I believe this is his first time going the full 10 rounds. But, this was actually a huge step up. He stepped up a lot in competition here. Fought a sort of fringe contender in Hernandez. Didn't do enough, in my opinion. Same with the judges. But, I don't really know who he should face or what's next for him. Maybe he should face an unknown opponent, get a win back. Maybe he should fight in Mexico, something like that. But I think he's going to most likely face a relatively unknown opponent to get a decent win. But he was pushed very, very hard for this fight, and props to him for putting on a good performance. So overall, Marcos Hernandez defeats Armando Resendiz by unanimous decision to get the upset and to give Armando Resendiz his first ever defeat of his professional career. And that's really it. I'm MB Boxing. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys later.